instead of you rejecting why you're different from the other person, you're supposed to embrace it because that is your own blessing. That's what makes you unique. So you can get a copy on Amazon, on okada.com, and on Kindle. Okay. Wow. Another awesome book here I have is Why Am I Unlucky? Okay. So definitely is a problem-solving book. Why am I unlucky? I've heard people saying that why am I so unlucky? Everything doesn't work out for me. This other person is rich or is blessed or that because, he's a better person. He, is better than me and, blah, blah, blah. But here DSA have explained in this book why, if you think you're unlucky, why is that so? And inside this book, you come across the root of bad luck. Who is lucky in life? Preparation makes you to be a lucky, but I will just add a lucky person. Your level of preparation determines your result in life. How to invest in your luck. How everyone can make themselves lucky. How to get rid of excess. Lucky people are lucky because they follow principle. So if you think you're not lucky, probably or not probably, is because you have not been following the right principle. So you have to put yourself out there and look for what principle can make you to become a lucky person. What are the principles that will make you lucky in life? Okay, here we go. The principle that can turn around your unluckiness, you will find it in this book. Next is good preparation is better than waiting for miracles. DSA has been teaching this for over 6 months on not to believe in miracles. We have way past that. And I am so happy that I know DSA that he has explained why we should not wait on miracles. This is not just a myth. He has explained this. He has hours of teaching about do not believe in miracles. Instead, you should invest in principles. Next is create your own network. Okay, well, I believe that we all understand differently what network is, but I will try to give you a little bit what this book is all about. First, we have your birth condition does not determine your worth. Next is you have a word and how to identify it. Okay? So everybody has a word. But in case you don't know what that is, this book will help you find that out. You can create your own network through time investment. Next, you can create your network through daily priorities. Okay, I'm just trying to give them, to entice them. Okay, so once again, create your own network. You can get it on Amazon, on okada.com, and on Kindle. Thank you.
7 principles of national transformation.
So, you remember what we started with a scriptural basis, right? Yes. So, you got that as that teaching. We did a good job. So, now we are saying, what are the principles that we can use to bring about this national transformation? So, that means like what we choose. Okay, sorry guys. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we need to get the microphone. Okay. Okay, I hope the battery is working now. So, 7 principles of national transformation. This is the second topic we are doing now. So, Mr. Chris.
7 principles.
Sorry, let me welcome everybody that's watching us on Facebook. Hello, everybody. Here we are in the classroom, continuing the HMT History Makers, which is, what was the topic of the History Makers? How to be the developed and civilized society. How to build a developed and civilized society. So now the second topic we are treating today is 7 principles of national transformation. Here we go.
7 principles of national transformation. Principle number 1.
We need to put off that light and put it back. Yeah. Put it off. Yes.
Principle number 1. The transformation of every person's heart through righteousness of both rulers and citizens.
So the first principle that we need to apply to change a nation, if you want to change a nation or transform a nation, you have to start by knowing this first truth. The first truth is that only a changed heart or a transformed heart, or what are you people, what's happening? Only a transformed heart through the principle of righteousness can change a nation. And the best way to change a nation is to target the transformation of the heart of both the rulers and the citizens. What does that mean? That means that, there are different ways we could transform somebody's heart. The first way you could transform somebody's heart is through religious experience, through the Holy Spirit. So, through and the fear of God. So, if people get to know God and fear Him, they will be able. Their lives will change. That's how our lives will change. But you will also discover that there are people in the West, in the Western world, for example, who are not born again. But then they have different hearts. They are not corrupt, and they are not cheating. They are not going by the system or something. How does that happen? The second way to transform the heart of the society, of people in the society, so that they will be able to, follow the principles that will lead to national transformation, is to legislate righteousness. That is what Europe has been able to do. Even when your heart is transformed through the Holy Spirit, if there is no legislation of righteousness around you, unless you are working on yourself constantly, you will not be able to maintain a righteous lifestyle. Or talk less of bringing righteousness. Hello? So you need to plug that thing very well. Something is going off sometimes, and I don't think, is it there? I think it's around it is the projector when it was moved. No, right now it's okay, but if it happens again, we have to just, Vezi de la te same. Ne nivetom de la. Ano, si chas normal na prosta na atkadela. Te pedro je narushi ili shusha nada iwo vernut da water. You need to put something under it. Something was under it. Sota de la porta. Da. So the whole idea is, it is only a transformed heart that will be able to build a transformed society. So if the people in government don't have a transformed heart, they will not be able to transform the society. I think something is being violated, right? Or is it okay? No? It's good enough? Okay. So the same way, if the people of the country are not changed, their hearts are not reformed, and the hearts are not changed, they will also not be able to build because it's not only the rulers can build a nation, but the citizens also need to build a nation. So it's not only the ruler's heart that must be changed, but the citizens' heart must be changed as well. So what do we have in Africa? In Africa, we have a situation, in Nigeria especially, when everybody is waiting on the leaders and say, oh, it is our leaders' fault. Oh, our leaders are not doing this. Our leaders are not doing this and that. It is because of our leaders. Our leaders are... So we are expecting the leaders to be the only ones responsible for changing a nation. But really, to change a nation, you must have a changed heart, a transformed heart. Yeah, a person's heart must be transformed, both rulers and citizens. Because let's say, like now in Nigeria, we have a situation whereby everybody agrees that we have a ruler that has righteousness in his heart, that is righteous. Or Buhari, even his opponents say he's not corrupt. So he's righteous, but that is not enough to change a nation. Even if Jesus Christ will become the president of Nigeria, until the citizens' hearts as well are changed, there is nothing he can do. There is nothing anybody can do when it comes to national transformation until people's hearts are changed. Both the heart of the leaders and the citizens. As a matter of fact, sometimes it is even more important for the hearts of the citizens to be changed because they are more. And they are more everywhere than the leaders. So the principle of righteousness is what exalts a nation. It could be through religious righteousness or through righteousness by principles. And we are going to see, and I'm going to pay much attention to legislating righteousness through principles. Or sometimes it's not through legislation of righteousness. Sometimes it is through propagation of righteousness. And I'm going to show you how do you legislate righteousness, or how do you propagate or infiltrate the whole society with righteousness. I'm going to show you now. Because I know that it is not real for everybody to experience religious experience of being born again, for their hearts to be changed. But even if they do that, there is no guarantee that they will maintain it. Because even Christians who have experienced change of heart, they are engaged in corrupt acts. because there is no legislation of righteousness. And the propagation of righteousness that we have in Africa is only from religious point of view. Hello? Shota vitroga ititam. Shota, yeah. Astaroj akurat. So when the values of righteousness are not legislated or are not established firmly through propagation and through penalties and things like that, then even though you were born again or your heart was changed, you will slide back when, no support system. So now I'm going to show you how you could establish the principles of righteousness in the whole society as a whole. Recently, if you heard about it, the former president of France, Sarkozy, or what they call him, Sarkozy, was being summoned and interrogated. Why? Because righteousness is legislated in the society. But in countries where it's not legislated, who are you to challenge the even former president? Okay, here we go.
Truth. Truth sees the truth series. Oh.
No, okay. This is just a note for everybody. For a more detailed analysis and detailed. I don't do it. Tetro guys, pravodka. So I want for you to get more knowledge about the Truth series, please go and look for the Truth series on YouTube. It is on YouTube where you can get much more on this topic. But right now, we will just tell you that there is need for truth for us to change a nation. So we are talking about righteousness, right? So how do you establish the principle of righteousness? First of all, not legislating it. First of all, legislate truth. Or infiltrate the whole society with the, propagate, with the propagation of truth. Let truth be so popular, so known. Let truth permeate the society. So that way, you might not be, that truth changes the heart of people, even though they are not religious. For example, there was a pastor, a Nigerian pastor that was coming to England, and when he got to the airport, when he got to the airport, they were asking him, what are you coming for? All kinds of questions. And he was saying, they said, are you sure you're a pastor? Oh, he said, yes, I'm a pastor and this and that. They said, okay, how can you prove it? So he said, no, but I cannot lie now because I'm a pastor. I cannot lie, I'm a pastor. So the woman who was the custom officer just said, you mean you cannot lie because you're a pastor? He said, yes, I cannot lie because I'm a pastor. He said, so it needs for you to be a pastor for you not to lie. So you mean if you are not a pastor, you would have lied easily? He said, no, I'm a Christian. So you mean only Christians don't lie? He has failed the exam. Because in Nigeria, that is a what do you call it? An argument that sells. That is a, what the word I'm looking for? Tangible, not a tangible argument, like a something valid argument. In Nigeria, that's a valid argument that I'm a pastor now, I'm a Christian. But to an English woman who is not a Christian at all, she said, why should you need to be a pastor before you will not lie? I think because you are a human being. That's just a human being. You should know you shouldn't lie. Why? The reason why that woman, who is not a Christian, who is not anything, she will still not lie, is because of the propagation of truth and legislation of truth and righteousness in society. So these are the ways you can change. So there is no nation that will ever progress, that will ever be developed, that will ever be civilized without truth and righteousness. without righteousness, without a changed heart. So people's hearts are changed in the Western world through propagation and legislation of righteousness. And they do that by legislating truth, by propagating it in such a way that it doesn't cross people's mind to do all those things. Sometimes they do it, but they know there are consequences. It's not popular. Most people will not. I don't know if you are getting it. Now, like I said, another way your heart could be changed, people's hearts could be changed is through religious experience. But the religious experience sometimes needs to still be fortified by legislation. What does legislation do? You know, it's the law. And if you violate it, there are consequences. There are punishment for it. But in societies where there are no consequences, where you know that you can go scot-free, righteousness will never reign. Even if all of them are religious. So truth has to be legislated or propagated. When I'm talking about propagated, it means that it must rule. It must, the propagation of it, the awareness of it, everybody must know. No, it must be the order of the day. It's well propagated truth and righteousness. There are still other factors how you bring righteousness to reign in the society. So one is truth, but we'll still go to other ones. Justice, honesty, sincerity are the other ones, but we'll still go there. Let's keep on reading.
Truth is the major principle for national transformation. Is the basis for national building.
So you understand it. How do you get it? How do you make it? Those are the things, that is the instrument to change the heart of man. That is the instrument by which righteousness rules in the heart of man. And both leaders and followers must follow it. If you have read my book, Nigeria and the Leadership Question, I was saying that instead of us looking for Messiah leader that will come and do everything right, we must rather change the focus. Not leadership we should be looking for. Not leader, we should be looking for one person who will be righteous. But we should rather shift our focus to making righteousness the order of the day for everybody. When the whole society is righteous, then it doesn't matter who is the leader. You can just pick anyone. Because everybody is walking in the light. I don't know if you get it. Yeah. So truth is one of the ways to bring people, to make a society righteous. Truth. To change the hearts of people. Truth. Okay?
Sincerity.
Next one is sincerity.
Sincerity is needed for rebuilding of relationships in a society.
Sincerity it makes the heart of men to be trustworthy among each other. So when you have been taught, propagated, either through legislation or propagation, but when sincerity is the order of the day, you can trust people. Which means that you can trust people with your money, you can trust people with business. For example, I know that if you tell me you are going to build this house for a certain amount of money, it will not change the next day, so that by the time it's halfway, it is now double. And then when we sign a contract, I would be able to know that exactly what you say you are going to do, you are going to do it. Okay? Sincerity is openness with each other. Everybody is open with each other. That way, so relationships in the society are healthy. So that is part of righteousness. Truth is a part of righteousness. Sincerity is a part of righteousness. But those things don't come automatically just because you are a Christian. So somebody might say, only Christians can change the country. No. If they are Christians, but these principles are not ruling in their hearts and their lives, nothing will change. But if they are not Christians, but the principles of righteousness are ruling, that is how things will change. They are more Christians than those ones who are doing religion. You see, we must be able to separate between religion and Christianity. What makes people Christians is not the religiosity. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yes, on one, there is a way, there is a road the Spirit of God plays. It comes to change your heart instantly. But the things that will sustain and change it permanently are the principles. Okay, next one.
Honesty. Honesty is connected with the attitude of the heart of each individual citizen.
Yes, so that's another part of righteousness. So there are things that make righteousness to be the order of the day. There are things that make righteousness to reign in the hearts of men. One is truth, one is sincerity, one is honesty. Honesty means even when there are nobody there, you are being taught to do everything right. You are honest with yourself. Sincerity is more in relationship to other people, with other people. Hello, shoot over stamp. Sincerity is in relationship with other people, but honesty is relationship between for your own self. Okay? Go ahead.
Honesty is
Oh,
connected.
sorry,
Okay.
sorry, we did that. Oh, okay, we wanted to show some videos that will be able to portray this. Why Africa is poor with most mineral resources and Europe without natural. Okay, so that's the same principle I was talking about the other time, the other retreat. You know, so let's take example of African countries where righteousness has not been established. But we are more religious than Switzerland. So in Switzerland, there are no religious people almost. Ungodly, mostly non-Christian nation. It is country, mostly right now. But righteousness, the principle of righteousness, at Leonard, at a take that we guys, shoot at them, the guys are not throw guys. Kagdak Tota is was do guys, what read to shoot for it. And not hold it. Shota Igor Shotatam is from Lao. Well, on Shotatam is from Lao. What Kagda previous Puska is there like that. Anyway, so Switzerland, for example, will not steal your money, even if they see it in the restaurant. They will take it to the police. But in Nigeria, even if you don't, it's not lost. They will go up and find it and take a gun to. Why? Even though people are religious, but there is no righteousness. But people are not religious in Switzerland, but righteousness has been, one, propagated as, as saturated the whole society. Secondly, it has been, what legalized, or what did I call it? Legislated. It has been legislated. So much that, righteousness is the order of the day. So that is why wealth will always move from a country that is not having righteousness to a country where righteousness is. Because everybody that has money wants his money to be secured. So they would rather take it from Africa and bank it in Switzerland. Why? Righteousness is the difference. So what are the principles of righteousness? Truth, honesty, sincerity, and was it the three I gave? I gave three, right? Yeah. So that's righteousness. Truth, sincerity, and honesty. And so, like I said, that change of heart, that righteousness can come through religious experience, but it must be maintained through legislation and through propagation. So Switzerland is number one country in the world that's uncorrupt country. Yeah. But Nigeria is one of the last country as corrupt country. Why? Where there is no righteousness, corruption rules. Even though everybody is religious. But it still was the most corrupt. Righteousness, there are ways that, we should pay attention to righteousness, not just as a religious experience, but as principles of truth. That is why Jesus Christ, when he came, he was always teaching. Why? Because those are the principles. Okay?
Justice.
So another thing that, apart from righteousness, another thing that must be legislated or propagated is justice. Righteousness, then justice is another thing. Okay?
Justice. Justice.
So these are any nation that wants to be civilized, any nation that wants to be developed, must be based on these principles. Like I just showed you now, why righteousness is good for a nation. The example of Switzerland. And lack of it, Nigeria. So righteousness is necessary for a nation to be developed and civilized. Justice is another very vital principle. The second out of the seven that the second one that we're going to look at. So justice is another vital one for righteousness to rule. I mean, for a nation to be developed and to be civilized. Okay?
Justice is the basis upon which equity, fairness, and balance is built.
So what does justice bring? It brings equity between people. It will not be like we have, okay, like for example, if you go to Nigeria, you have people that are fabulously rich and wealthy. They live a lifestyle that is, but the next person down the street is totally the opposite. But in the West, even though there are people who are wealthy too, but you don't see such a big dichotomy, such a big difference because of equity. Because in Nigeria, 2% of the population is controlling the whole thing. And maybe just 2% of the wealth is going to 98% of the citizens. But in a country where justice reigns, there's equity. Even if there are going to be gaps, it's not going to be too wild. I don't know if you get it. Then there is fairness. So you know that nobody can just take advantage of another one. Nobody can go to court and say, because I am this and this, I'm a big man, so I can just violate any law I want. You know that you cannot just do anything you want. There is fairness for everybody. So everybody has to behave. That's why justice is needed. And then there is balance in everything. So justice, without justice, a nation cannot be developed and civilized.
Lawyers in the United States. Lawyers in the United States, 2007 to 2017. In 2017, there were approximately 1.34 million lawyers in the United States.
Well, the reason why I wanted to see this is for you just to know that 75% of all the lawyers in the world are from the United States. You know why? Because that is the country where there are more litigations. And, more than any other country. The reason is because everybody is claiming rights, because everybody is equal. And in everything, there is a law. Every little thing, there is a law. Why? It's an attempt to create a fair and a society where there is equity and fairness. So, because everybody can claim anything, everybody that, rights and things. Why? Because law has to work. Because they are not trying to make people to bring justice just by you being a Christian or being... No, they use legislation. So in their own case, legislation is a big part of it. That is only because of legislation there is a fair society. People might be thinking that you are a monkey in their heart, but they are afraid of talking. Yes, because... You see? It's because they are afraid of the legislation. It's not because they like you, but it's because they like themselves. They don't want to go to jail. But of it, the ego. Okay. Tax though. So it's because of the law. So we need to have supremacy of the law. It helps us to establish both righteousness and justice.
Matthew 15:19. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, thefts, false witness, blasphemies.
Now, this is the superiority of changing the heart itself. But when you can really make people to change the heart, it's even better than the legislation. Because the legislation, he can still have it in his heart, but not do anything bad because of the legislation. But when the propagation, that's where propagation is better. Because the propagation will inform him and make him to be able to take a conscious decision. So that's the difference between legislation and propagation. The propagation is through information. You take an informed decision rather than just being afraid. Legislation makes you afraid. Propagation makes you to take decision, to be informed, to have a different heart. And that is one that is superior. Because then you don't want to do it because your heart, you take the decision. Yeah.
Transformation of a nation. If it's going to be lasting, and enduring must be based on justice, because from the heart comes every evil thought.
Justice, justice. So justice, righteousness, justice is another one. If you want to change a nation, justice must, because from the heart, we already had that. Okay, so there is another example here. Germans are submissive in their country, but not always everywhere else. Germany is one of the most submissive countries in the world, one of the most organized and obedient countries in the world. But when you see Germans on holidays, or on vacation, they begin to drink and do all kind of things. The same thing with English people. Yeah. When you see them on holidays, even though they are well behaved in the society when they are at home, but when they get to Portugal, or they get to the stadium, bad news. Because the heart is not changed. It is legislation that is making them to behave. And that is why we still need religion in every society. Because religion deals with the heart. Not religion, no, when it's bad, just religion. But true relationship with God changes the heart of man. Okay?
Principle number 2, the principle of love.
That was still part of righteousness. That's justice and right. So the thing was righteousness, sincerity, honesty, truth, and justice. Yes. And then this is the second principle of national transformation.
Principle number 2, the principle of love.
The principle of love. Beautiful.
Matthew 22:37 to 40.
So the first principle is the principle of righteousness, changing the heart. Changing the heart of man, that the heart of man must be changed through righteousness, honesty, sincerity, truth, and now the second principle that is needed to be civilized and developed country is the principle of love. Righteousness, love. Okay.
Matthew 22:37 to 40. Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets." We must teach every citizen to respect the land.
Now, why do we need love in national transformation? When you can, if you can also use the principle of propagation and legislation. If we, one of the greatest things we could do for our country is to legislate law. For example, if you throw away your garbage or rubbish to the street, you will go to the punished. That is legislating law. If you park your car and your neighbor cannot park, you're going to be punished for it. That is legislating law. You understand? Anything that you do, that is going to jeopardize the goodwill and the well-being of your neighbor is not love. And when you know that you'll be punished for it, not like in Nigeria, you still put your car in the middle of the road, everybody is saying, pam, 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 go. You say, what's your problem? No, you are a big man, nobody can say anything. So it's not legislated. Then you say, apart from legislation, there is still propagation. So love must be legislated and propagated so that it will be assimilated by the whole society. That is how there is respect for everybody. Also, love must be legislated so that when you sign a contract or you give your job to anybody, come and do renovation here, you know if they will do it to the best as if to themselves. If they don't, they could be punished for. That is all the reason why U.S. is the country with the highest number of lawsuits. Because over there, if you don't want, you don't do it, but then you will pay for it. That's why all the lawsuits, because legislation, it is legislated. So for us to change a nation, love. So these are things for us to put at the four corner of the country. Righteousness, love, those things bring order. They make the country to run properly. Through legislation and through propagation, then there is order, there is respect for everyone. Then on the basis of that, productivity can now come. Development and civilization. Okay, let's continue.
We must teach every citizen to respect the land.
The same thing, the same way I just gave example now about how to love your neighbor, the same way we must legislate and propagate and teach every citizen to love the country or respect. Respect is part of love.
Hosea chapter 4 verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, you children of Israel, for the Lord brings a charge against the inhabitants of the land. There is no truth or mercy or knowledge of God in the land.
You see? So one of the best things we can all do for our country is to legislate truth, mercy, all those things, justice, knowledge of God in the land, that righteousness. If we could establish these things, people, either they like it or not, the society will function. But it's easier even through love.
Genesis chapter 3, 16 to 18. To the woman he said, I
already told you about that, right? Yeah, we already, that's about the land, the need for the land, because the land was caused. And here we go.
Citizens must respect one another. I need you and you need me.
That's the principle of love. I need you, you need me. So we all need each other. So that's the basis upon which the law of love must be based. And if you think you want to take advantage of me, then you will be penalized for it.
Respect is love in action.
You see, respect. I use respect because it's part of love. That is action, practical love.
We must have mutual.
Yes?
We must have mutual responsibilities, respect of rights and property, honor and respect for life and individuals.
Okay. Тогда пускай Галя, дай, пожалуйста, ему, или пришлешь ему по скайпу, или дай ему твой компьютер. Okay. We must.
We must have mutual responsibilities, respect of rights and property, honor and respect for life and individuals.
Okay, you have it. You have the slide in your. You have it. It's on your Facebook.
Yeah,
okay.
If we would keep the commandment to love one another, we must treat each other with kindness and respect.
So kindness and respect, those are all manifestations of love. And they can be legislated. Legislated and propagated.
Isaiah chapter 24, 1 to 3. Behold, the Lord makes the earth empty and makes it waste, distorts its surface and scatters abroad its inhabitants.
So, why is it that a country will come to devastation, emptiness, waste, distortion, and even the inhabitants will scatter when these principles of righteousness, justice, truth, sincerity, honesty, love, when they are not legislated and they are not propagated, these are the calamities that begin to happen to countries. All of us are here now as a result of that thing. There was a time in the 80s that the only people that were scattering abroad like this were Ghanaians. They are the ones who were scattering, running away from their countries. But Nigerians were not. Even if you go to study, your class come back home. No need for it. But today, hallelujah. The calamities have scattered the life. Everybody is scattered. You see, principles work. And these are the things that are needed to build a civilized and developed country. And when I'm listening to our governments today, as if they are not even aware of what to do. As even our pastors and government, as if they are oblivion of these principles. They don't even know how to do it. They are not even aware that they exist. And these are the foundation of society. Europe, the way Europe is, because their forefathers understood these things and put them. Those ones today might not understand it, but the people who built the society, they had it. And that is the foundation upon which Europe and America is built today. We must go back to foundation. What we want to do now in Africa is just to copy what is happening right now, instead of going back to the same foundation. And first of all, laying our foundation on these principles. Then we can build everything on top of it. Yep.
Behold, the Lord makes the earth empty and makes it waste, distorts its surface and scatters abroad its inhabitants. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priest. As with the servant, so with his master. As with the maid, so with her mistress. As with the buyer, so with the seller. As with the lender, so with the borrower. As with the creditor, so with the debtor. The land shall be entirely emptied and utterly plundered, for the Lord hath spoken his word. As Isaiah 24, 4-7. The earth mourns and fades away. The world languishes and fades away.
You see? Why does the tragedies, calamities, mourning happening? Because of lack of these principles.
The haughty people of the earth languish. The earth is also defiled under its inhabitants.
Because lack of righteousness, love, justice, honesty, truth, all these things, they make the earth to be defiled. They're defiling the earth.
Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance.
You see, transgress the laws. Those are laws of justice, truth, love. Yeah.
Changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
You see?
Therefore, the curse has devoured the land, the
See?
earth.
Everything is explainable.
And those who dwell in it are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned.
You see, for example, now in Nigeria, people who are living abroad, we're sending all kind of money home. In fact, right now, the amount we are sending home is more than the amount they are getting from oil. You think there is any change? Because the changes must be in values for us and in principles. Until those things are addressed, send any amount you want. You are sending into a hole. Yes, go ahead.
Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men are left. The new wine fails, the vine languishes, all the merry-hearted sigh.
Not be me right now. I didn't write that though. Number 3 principle of national development transformation.
Principle number 3, the role of foresight.
Before any country could be truly developed, there is the need for foresight. Foresight. So we have talked about the most important one, the change of the heart through righteousness. The second one we have spoken about is through love. Now, the changing of nation through foresight. What is foresight? The ability to see tomorrow from today. The ability to see in the further future into 10, 30, 40, 50, 200, 150 years ahead of time. So that ability to see into the future is what will inform the decisions of today. Only when a society is led by people who have foresight, then that nation that has foresight is the one that rules the world. nations that have gone to the future before the hundreds of years before the future arrives. They are the ones who have arrived into that future before other people are still trying to catch up. So until you rule a nation with foresight, you will always be running to catch up with the others. Okay, here we go.
Principle number 3. Okay. The nation needs a permanent group of people working.
So how will I address this as somebody if I want to change Nigeria? I need to set up a permanent group of people working to find and give foresight. I don't know if you get it. Of course, through research institutes, junior schools, etc. When I was growing up, they used to have junior schools, whereby they will separate students who are promising and put them in junior schools. Now they don't have them in Nigeria. But we need to go back to that, because it is through those junior schools that we are going to have people that will give us foresight in technology, give us foresight in intelligence, give us foresight in modernization, in politics, in finances, in everything. But we just rule them as why? Let everybody be equal. Okay. We are now equal now. And everybody is behind. They are not competitive with anybody at all. Foresight. And not just schools, but research. In Nigeria, everybody is starting university. Rubbish. If I'm to start something, I will start 2 things: technical colleges and research institutes. Because only research institutes give you an edge over your contemporary nations. And in Nigeria, I don't know if you have more than 1 or 2 research institutes. We are supposed to have more research institutions more than universities. And we don't even have any at all. So what are we talking about? Countries are only in leadership and are only vanguards of others. Thanks to the foresight. And where will your foresight come from? From your researches into the future. From your laboratories. So, I don't know if Nigerians are hearing me or if Nigeria is hearing me today. Foresight, one of the most important principles to building a developed and civilized society. Okay? Here we go.
He that sees the future will control the mind of the nations.
You see? Or control the mind of the world. If you see the future you before anyone else in the world, you will be ahead of the whole world. The whole world will be following after you. If you see the future in regards to a nation, you will control that nation. Because you are doing and going ahead of every other person. Shut up, praise God. Is that the projector? Yeah, but you need to be able to read. Okay.
He that sees the future will control the mind of the nations.
The nations. Do you think it's a good idea to be able to control the nations and be ahead and control the minds of nations? Definitely. Yeah, U.S. is doing it. Recently, Putin, the Russian president, announced some new missiles and armaments, weapons. Did you people hear about it? Yes, that the whole world, it has never existed before. Everybody is panicking. That is why they are doing everybody is they are doing all this scandal against Russia now. Everybody is against Russia because they have gone ahead of them, in technology, military. And they made all the military of other countries useless. So they want to quickly rubbish them. Can you imagine? They said they poisoned 2 people in the UK. And of course, how do you know? Pastor Wellington, you don't be small boy. Oh. You are not small. Oh. No, because if you listen to if you ask any normal human being, they will tell you that yes, it happened. Okay, let's even assume it happened. Prove it now. Of course, propaganda. Yeah. For example, okay, the point. Let's even say it happened. All right. How many people have the jihadists and the terrorists killed in London?
Exactly.
2. The London metro bombing. How many did they kill? They are killing every year tens, hundreds. In London, in Paris, in Belgium, jihadists. So why are they not starting a war? Why are they not doing all the propaganda? Everybody is complaining. In America, they are killing. All the Muslims are doing terrorists. They are cutting people's heads. No complaint. Some 2 people that is not even their citizen. They are all Rogers. They say, oh, okay, everybody is mad. Rubbish. Of course, it's propaganda. It's just politics. But people who just believe television and news, they don't know the difference. They think it's because of poisoning of some people. They don't know that it's big politics. And Russians say, we didn't do it. Okay, prove to us that we did it now. Yeah, because they set it up. So, but you say people want to be able to, it's what they call geopolitical wars. It's geopolitical influence. It's, because people want to control the future. And Africa is not even in the picture at all. I think we don't even exist. Yeah, I think we don't even exist. But I'm going to, by the grace of God, I'm going to change that because I know the principles. I know how things work. And I'm going to, by the time we set up 100, can you imagine? And I know Nigerians. If we could set up research institutes like this, because we have many people in Nigeria. That's one of the reasons I don't want Nigeria to divide. We have almost 200 million, there are plenty. So we are going to gather enough and put 100 research institutes like that. Put the brightest minds, take them from all over the world, and put them in different directions. So in technology, a whole research institute, we must have our own submarines. Then put another one, aviation technology. We must have our own jets. Just put them there, let them be working there 100 years, 200 years, just researching the latest jets and the submarine that could be invented in the whole world. Then the latest, the biggest electronic industry, information industry, just be researching it. Put 10,000 people there. Let just be working, just be paying them salary. You see, I don't know if God will allow me to. I just pray that God will give me the opportunity to be able to get out, to get to that country, because I know what to do, guys. But I'm telling it to the world right now, at least to our people. Maybe somebody will hear. Yes.
From China,
Yes.
from Japan,
Yes.
from the Philippines,
Yes.
everyone who is unique.
Yeah.
They took the ones that had
That's why they have the edge.
Yes.
That-
Everybody
That's why they have the edge.
manipulate.
Yeah. They have the edge because they took the best brain. Anybody that can see the future will control the world.
And they just build
And we can make it happen for our people too. For our nation. And Nigeria is the one that to do it for black race. Because we are the biggest black race on earth. And that is why I don't even know if anybody in that country understands all this. So I want to tell them what to do. I know the trick. I know what to do. I know the secrets. I know how to make this country great like that. But would they even listen to us? They're just arguing, talking. That's why I'm praying that God, let me get out of Ukraine, please. Let me get back to that country. But the reason why this particular HMT is important for me is that even if I don't get to go to Africa again, at least I would have been able to release. So even if I die today now, or I never get to Africa, but even if I don't ever get to Africa, at least I know the things that have been keeping in me over the years, that I was the only one who knew it. Now that I'm sharing with the whole world, it will no more be say there is nobody that knows what to do. You know the way we were before in Africa, like if nobody knows what to do, we are just helpless. At least now, there will be information somewhere. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. There will be at least information somewhere, knowledge somewhere that I have. So that's why this HMT for me is very, very important. Because it is about how to build a civilized and developed nation. Yeah. Because it's a whole continent. We have 1.5 billion people in Africa, or black people. So we need to be able to restore them. That's a lot. And if they don't know these things, we are going to be in that darkness for a long time to come. But like I said, even if it's not going to be me God is going to use, and God is, but at least some other people will be able to now and have the information to use to bring about the transformation. But what I'm still dealing with right now is, first of all, the elementary ones. And the elementary ones is to break the stronghold of religion and religious cabals over the people. These ones are already higher. These are ones are already higher degree, like nation building. But right now we are just doing the elementary groundwork first before we get to this. But for you people who are already here, I'm so happy that we're able to address it. Yeah.
How it works.
Yep.
Developing specialties in technology.
Specialties.
Yeah.
Specialists.
Developing
Like
specialists. Developing specialists in technology.
So that's what I had already explained to you. So set up research institutes, experts that will only be working, researching in the area of technology, for example.
Through industrial spying.
Another strategy that I want to use to give Africa an edge is that we should begin to develop our spy industry. Yeah. We have to develop spying. Yeah, through all the Africans that are all over the world, all these Nigerians. There is no way for us to catch up with the West. Without the Exodus 12 strategy. I'm taking it from the Bible. Somebody said, oh, but he's stealing. Well, spying? You think he's stealing? Well, accuse God first. Challenge him first. He started it. I'm just copying him. Yeah, he started it. He had spies. He sent them ahead. So if we, it's a biblical principle. It's biblical. So if we want to catch up, there is no way Nigeria right now will begin to come up with its own idea of building submarines. How can we build submarines when we never know what it is? We can only steal their technology. You think America will just come to you and say, Africa, take your own submarine, Jackie. Let's just transfer the technology to you. You think that's how they transfer to Japan? No, they still. You think they transfer to China, that they are competing with China now? No. You know what? Have you heard of the fuse that is happening? The big news, the fight that is happening about North Korea, because they don't want North Korea to develop nuclear technology. Yeah. Why? Because nobody is interested. So the question is, you don't want North Korea to develop? Oh, we don't want because he's a madman there. So who says Trump is not a madman? So who says that U.S. can have nuclear technology and they cannot have? So what is? But in the West, they will say, no, it's okay. We can have because it's we. It's us. We can be okay. We are not mad. So it's okay if we have it. But it's wrong if they have it. That's why they would never give you. So that's why they are surprised that North Korea got it. So they have to be surprised that we got it too. They have to be surprised that we got it too. Let them be surprised. Then later on, they will be fighting. Then what we'll do, we'll sit down and talk. Do you know, Iran, yeah, they want to talk now. Because the guy now has nuclear power, now they can talk. Iran wanted to develop something. The US gave them 500 billion. You know what 500 billion? That's the whole GDP of Nigeria. Just say, okay, close the project. How did they get it? You think they went they gave them for free? Everybody is stealing from everybody. Everybody is stealing from everybody. Spy. So technology, industrial spying has to be developed. We have to develop our own industry. Right now we are just doing some, I don't even know what we are doing in that Africa. Nobody is thinking strategically. Nobody is, going with foresight. Nobody is, People are just getting salary. What they said the senators are getting some ridiculous. They are just buying cars from Japan. Why not build your own Mercedes? Why buying cars? Is that what you want to do? To buy some cars and begin to build something? Why don't you build your own? And there is no way for us to do it unless we develop industrial spying. And develop spies. I'm sorry if you people are too holy and righteous for that, but God is not too righteous for that. So I'm in His club. I'm His son. Yeah, please go ahead and read.
Through industrial spying and spies.
That's how we can get foresight, guys. Because you've got to catch up with people before you can overtake them. If you are 100 yards behind,
you can't.
1,000 yards, you are not even catching up, talk less of overtaking. Yes, sir. Yes. 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 You see, when you want to exchange like that, they will give you for the 200 years ago. The technology for 200 years ago. So the one that is obsolete. Nobody wants you to be better than them. Like now, China is being able to grow very fast, and now China is the headache, is the problem. Why? Because they are growing. Why should that be a problem? Because nobody wants to be overtaken. Now, America, through Trump, they are putting embargo on China. Why? Because they don't want them to develop their industry. Why? Because everybody wants to be number one. It's just like you now. You have a family? You have your child? Coming. Okay, you have your wife. Okay, good. What about, do you have a neighbor? A neighbor who is not your relative, not your family? Nothing. Okay, why don't you go and give your wife to your neighbor? That might be a good service. It could help you to give her a child. Yeah, I have to help you. He will give. Okay. Next example. Whenever you need to, do you help your wife somehow? What do you do? Do you drive her sometime, or you cook for her? What do you help her do? Cook. Okay. Why don't you go and cook for the wife of your neighbor next time? Breakfast, yeah, or lunch. She also needs help. She. She also needs help, huh? But you don't go to do that. Why? Those are examples for you of human nature. That's just it. Everybody wants their own to be better. When you get your son or your child or your baby, one day you are going to send him to school, good school, private school, maybe, good school. Why is it that you don't leave your child at home and go and pay for the school fees of your neighbor? To send your neighbor to private school, and you send your own to public school. Nobody wants to do that. You people with your headache. Why didn't you go and charge the thing before now? You should be troubling me like this. This is green. This is okay. Don't be troubling me like this. This is green too. But Igor just came to change it. I thought I was trying to answer the question of the French guy. I didn't know they were cooking up their own problem for me. Okay, here we go. Okay.
True relationship with other nations.
So another way we have to do that spying thing is through relationship. You understand?
True spiritual search and direction.
Okay, another way we could also get foresight. First of all, it's through spying, through research institutes, through relationship with other nations, and through spiritual search and foresight. Now, if you go to Israel, Israel uses this principle very well through spiritual search and direction. They go and decode the Bible. It's basically what I'm doing now. These my teachings. They are not teachings you will hear anywhere. These are also spiritual decoding. So spiritual decoding, it could also give you an edge over other nations. In Israel, they use that a lot, and through decoding the Bible, they get directions and ideas that other nations don't even come close. So it gives you foresight and advantage. Yep.
Developmental vision before schools, university, to search for future progress.
Yeah. So, for example, we have educational institutions, tertiary institutions, but we don't put developmental vision before them. So there must be schools. You have public schools, right? That's okay. Those are just for normal people. But you must have special schools where you give developmental visions before them. For example, you collect 100 universities and gave them an assignment. This your university, in the next 20 years, you must produce the fastest computer in the world. This university, in the next 20 years or how many years, you must produce the best computer in the world. You must produce the best camera, the best things. You must be. We are not giving assignment to schools. What our schools right now are doing is just educating people. We are not, we must turn our schools and institutions into institutes of implementation of national developmental programs. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We must have what we wanted. We must understand what we need for the future, and we must make them to work to implement them. That is why you have all these, what they call Ivy League colleges. That's what they are doing. Yale, Harvard, all those, Princeton. That's what they do. They project the future policies of the world and directions. But our own, just come and get admission and pass and get paper. And go and look for a job. So I hope that all these ideas will get to the right hands in the future. Okay?
Foresight through planning. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Isaiah chapter 42 verse 9. Behold, the former things have come to pass, and new things I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them.
That's foresight right there. That is foresight right there. I'm planning. So we must use foresight to plan. There is no nation, if that wants to be ahead of other nations, that should not have 200 years plan. I am having 200 years plan for Nigeria. That is my own idea. That Nigeria must have 200-year plan, 500-year plan. Then we are ready to talk. But right now, they are just talking about 2020. When is 2020? 3 years plan. Do they joke? Even me, I'm having 300 years plan for my own life. You are talking 3 years, 220. Are you a joker? That is how you plan according to foresight. You project yourself into the future. At least you must plan for a century ahead. Or 2 or 3 days, centuries. But thank God I'm having this HMT, because I don't even know where will I have had the opportunity to even release all these things. Okay?
Through discernment, time and season.
Through discernment of time and season. That is another way to be able to build through foresight, by foresight. We need to be able to analyze times and seasons. And changing of times and seasons. Yeah.
First
Chronicles
12 verse 32. Of the sons of Issachar who had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do.
Is it? It is the information and the understanding of times and seasons that informs you of what
to do.
You remember Jesus was saying that you foolish Pharisees and scribes, you know when this sun is supposed to come, rain is supposed to come, and you don't know times and seasons? That is a key factor in projecting the future. Okay?
Now is the time.
Yeah, read stronger.
Now is the time.
Okay.
Principle number 4.
I'm sure you people like that third principle, eh? Yeah. Foresight, okay.
The root of national problems.
That is principle number 4 in national development and national transformation. What is this? What does this mean? Every nation, if you are building a nation, you must know that the root of national problems. Now, why is that important? If you don't know the root of any problem you have, and the root of national problem, any nation's problem is always one and the same. But if you don't know that, you will begin to think that the root of your nation's problem is one tribe, is the Igbos or the Hausas. So in Nigeria right now, because they don't know this principle, that the root of national problem is not tribe, can never be tribe. You should settle that forever. Whatever problem you are having in your nation, the reason for it will never be and can never be because of one nationality or the other. Our number 2 thing you must also know is that the root of your national problem can never be a group of people. You know, Fulanis or Hausas or this. And it can never be religion. But once you begin to slide into thinking that the problem is the Muslims, you self-destroy. It is the fastest strategy to captivate. You will be fighting. You are distracted. You will never focus on the national development. You are putting yourself backward hundreds of years before. You are the whole country is like you are running in a 100-meter dash, and you are now saying, "No, I have trouser problem," and you are sitting down to fix the track. You should always know that, because once you begin to think that there are some groups of people that are the bad, it is shooting yourself in the feet. Because you are not going forward, you are going backward. So two things you should know, first of all, that the root of national problems can never be other nationalities. Because that's when you just be fighting one another, you never go forward. You are not going forward, they are not going forward. And the root of national problem can never also be religion. Otherwise, you just be suspecting each other, you be fighting each other, you never go forward. So what is the root of national problem? It is sin and iniquity. Only that. Lack of righteousness. If you can fix that, that's the only thing you should focus your efforts on. What do I mean, lack of righteousness? That is those things we have examined. Lack of love, lack of righteousness, lack of truth, lack of honesty, lack of justice. Those are the things to fight. So it doesn't matter if it's Hausa or Igbo. If he's having, if he's having righteousness, if he's having truth, if he's having honesty, if he's having justice, do you care? Who cares? If it's Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa or Fulani, if he's having justice, righteousness, what is my problem? Those are the issues we should be addressing. But when they begin to make you think it is nationality or religion, you are blind to justice, to values, to the most important thing that are important. You will not be seeing that, you'll be seeing enemy in that. Why you are getting more corrupt? Why righteousness is falling by the road? Truth is being destroyed. Everything is being destroyed. You'll be destroying one another. And so the root of national problem must be defined. So, for example, in my country, Nigeria, the other day I saw, they said all the South governors are meeting together. And why are they meeting together? So that we will go and, they want to disagree with the northern governors who say they don't want reconstruction. So we want reconstruction, or what is it, structure or something? Restructuring. We want restructuring. We want restructuring. They don't want restructuring. They are the bad ones. We want restructuring, and they said they don't want restructure. So let's go and fight them that they don't want restructure. We want restructure. As if it is restructure. When you are unrighteous, they are unrighteous. You don't have love, they don't have love. You are not honest, they are not honest. All that remains. So you don't love truth, they don't love truth. All that remains. You are thinking it is destruction. And then the pastors, they are going to say it is the Muslims. It is the Islamic agenda. Why righteousness, truth, honesty? It's been totally abandoned. No, Islamic agenda. You see rubbish that we are doing. Huh? You see rubbish that we are doing. So when will you be able to establish righteousness? Honesty, sincerity, truth, love, righteousness. When will you be able to, the things that matter, the things that make country to progress, when will you be able to put foresight? When will you be able to put it? Spies, things like that. When will you be able to come together in a concerted effort to be able to construct something when you are already saying it is you to blame? You shoot yourself in the foot because you don't understand the root of national problems. The root of national problem is only one thing: lack of value systems, or what we call sin or iniquity. Please.
The root of our entire problem and the problem of any nation is sin and iniquity.
Any country you go to, that's the only thing we all have in common.
In national transformation, sins and iniquity regarded as the absentees of value system.
You see? So, you might not always call it religious words, sayings and things, yeah. But there's the absence of things
value
like
system.
righteousness, truth, love, justice. Yeah.
Proverbs chapter 25, verse 4 to 5. Take away the dross from silver, and it will go to the silversmith for jewelry.
When you remove all the drawers, all those evil things, lack of things, you have jewelry. Go ahead.
Take away the
Diamond.
Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness.
It is wickedness that's the problem, not people. And the righteousness will be established.
The problem is not in the flesh and blood, which means problems are never with tribes, ethnic groups, or nationalities. Wonderful.
That's why when the greatest countries right now are the countries that are able to bring it everybody. It doesn't matter, even national. It doesn't. But that's not the problem. Yeah, Canada. Okay.
The only problem is value system.
You see,
People are good, values are
people
bad.
are always good. Their values might be bad because value system, because they are not established in righteousness. But people are always good. People are made in God's image and likeness. Teach them the right values, and you will find out. Yeah.
The only problem is value system. People are good, values are bad. People might be good, but their choices might be wrong or evil. Genesis chapter 3, verse 17 to 18.
Yeah, that's the situation I said that, sin.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem of a nation is not in religion, but in their practices and the absence of value.
So we don't blame nationalities and you don't blame religion of other people. Let that religion have value system. Let them embrace values. Okay?
People can be religious but not live right. That is the problem.
They don't have values. They don't have justice. They don't have truth. They don't have honesty. They don't have sincerity, righteousness.
For problem to be less in a nation, righteousness must rule. When value systems rule in a society, problems are reduced to the minimal.
Why? Because righteousness is the confirmation of the uprootment of, what do we call it in the beginning? Tongues. Tongues and teasers. Yeah. That is the affirmation that tongues and teasers have been dealt with. Yeah. You see?
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 34. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people.
See, that's the only problem. The root of national problem is always not culture, not tradition, not tribe, not nationality, not religion, but principle number 5.
Principle number 5, unity. Unity, a major principle in national transformation.
And you will see how Satan is attacking Nigeria with this point here. Unity. Because when you are not united, you don't have a concerted effort. You are not bound together to pursue a vision. Everybody is running to their own direction. And you cannot get anywhere. Unity is another key to national growth and development.
Any kingdom that is divided in itself shall not stand. Unity.
So unity
is the key factor to bring progress to a nation. Freedom. For unity to reign, freedom must be guaranteed for all participants, for all unions.
So on what basis do we bring unity? That's what I'm trying to say here. How can you make unity to reign in a society? So there are principles on which unity is based. There are people will never be able to unite when they see that you don't give them freedom. So unity can only be based on the basis of freedom. Number 2, Unity can only be based on the basis of law and order. Number 3, unity can only be based on, can only be possible on the basis of justice. Justice. For unity to reign, there must be justice. And number 5, for unity to reign, there must be a strong leadership. So those are the basis. Principles are not, they don't just, unity doesn't just come by itself. Unity comes based on leadership, justice, law and order, and freedom. These are the factors that make unity possible. Are you getting it? Yeah. Okay. Number 6 point.
Principle number 6, structure of government. Leadership model is essential for the future of any nation.
Yeah, so government is important because those are the leaders, the leadership. So the leadership example is important to be able to lead any nation into growth and civilization.
Matthew 20:25-28.
When it comes to leadership, this is the most important principle. Leaders must know that they are servants and they are not lords.
But Jesus called them to himself and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who are great exercise authority over them. Yet it shall not be so among you. But whosoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. And whoever desires to be first among you, let him be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many."
As long as our senators are receiving $1 million something dollars, and other people are living on $1 or $2, that is not servant leadership. So we don't have leadership. And this is both Muslims and Christians. And these are the Hausas, Igbos, and Yorubas. Every one of them. It doesn't matter. But when there is no such leadership that is exemplary like this, there are no models, so there is no way you can bring a nation to development and civilization.
Political and economical structure of a nation affects the development of a nation.
Yeah, so we must come up with a system whereby, whether you call it democracy or whatever, but the whole idea is that this political leadership and structure must help to facilitate all those factors that we have mentioned. Righteousness. That government is supposed to be there to affirm and establish righteousness, truth, justice, honesty, sincerity, and love, and vision, and foresight, and all these other things that we are talking about.
The system of government must work for citizens to feel justice.
Yeah. Every citizen must know and feel that, yes, there is justice for me.
A key factor is for the citizens to believe in their leaders, trust.
And when there is no such belief in their leaders, citizens will not be encouraged to do the right thing. Citizens will never be able to do the right thing when they know that the leadership are not doing the right thing. Yep.
However, the beginning of trust is humility by the leaders.
And that's why Jesus said, for you to be first, you have to be the last.
When leadership speaks and pursues the truth, there is trust in the populace.
Yeah, there are things that bring trust and the authority of the leaders to be high. First of all, leadership must be servant leaders. Thirdly, leadership must pursue truth and righteousness. Fourthly, leadership must cast vision. These are the things that make people to be able to follow leadership of the nation.
The, peop- the people must see a transparent and dedication of their leadership
To
to pursue justice and righteousness in the nation.
this guy here is the biggest psychopath in the world. Narcissistic psychopath. Psychopathic narcissist. The seventh principle.
Principle number 7, God's providence or the God factor.
So there is also a God factor in national development, which which is to be our edge over all the modern countries now. Because the countries of Europe, they use that God factor to build the countries. But their children now are living in. And that is how we can overtake them.
Yeah.
Because we can still use this factor. Because there is always God in the affairs of men. Okay?
The ability to invoke the power of God in the running of a nation.
First of all, through the word of God. Because there's so much wisdom and secrets in the word of God. Okay?
Zechariah chapter 4 verse 6 to 7. So he answered and said to me, this is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Who are you, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel you shall become a plain. And he shall bring forth the capstone with shouts of grace, grace to it.
You see, grace is needed. God gives grace. And if we humble ourselves before God and we apply his principles and word, we can get that grace. But God's power, God's factor only works after human factor has been exhausted. If you have not done your best from your own part, God is numb. God is indifferent. You must have used all other principles, and that's why it's the last one. Before you can, if you cannot not do your own part and then be saying God should come and do, that's irresponsibility. Only after you have done all your own part finished, then God will still come and help you.
God's providence and intervention, it's not possible if men do not do their best. By the blessing of the righteous, the nation is blessed. Daniel chapter 4, 25 to 26. They shall drive you from men, your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make you eat grass like oxen. They shall wet you with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over you, till you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomever he chooses. And inasmuch as they gave the command to leave the stump and roots of the tree, your kingdom shall be assured to you, after you come to know that heaven rules.
Yeah, so when people neglect God, they stand the chance of repeating the fate of Nebuchadnezzar.
Daniel chapter 4, 31 to 32. While the word was still in the king's mouth, a voice fell from heaven. King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken, the kingdom has departed from you, and they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make you eat grass like oxen, and 7 times shall pass over you, until you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomever he chooses.
See, that factor of God ruling in the kingdom of men must always be there. So, yeah, let's put on the light. So, that is the lecture for today. Now it's time for practical expression of your feelings experiences. What do you receive? What did you receive? I need to hear from you all. Anybody that wants to talk, please come. Take the microphone. Yes, please. Can you put on the light for her and position it in a way so that it will, come to her face? Yeah, stop the ekran. Yes.
Yeah, so like my I don't know, like my brain is just going like 360, like
That is good. That's a good thing.
yeah. So I'm just picturing, because I just picture everything like Africa. Now I know the reason why Africa is so corrupt, because of there is no sincerity, there's no honesty, there's no justice in Africa.
Righteousness.
Yes, righteousness. That is not, we lack that. Like, so that's why
The righteousness people know in Nigeria, in Africa, is just religion. Just talk. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like, we just, like, we have lots of work to do. Like, I can see that we have lots of work, and we've not been
No,
doing
big
anything.
microphone, because they have to hear it.
Yeah, we have lots of work to do. Like, we've not been doing nothing. Like, we've just been wasting our life. We're chasing after things that, like, it's nothing. We are not chasing after the real thing, why we are existing here. We are just chasing after all these material things. Like I'm picturing my country. Again, I pick on my country, Sierra Leone, because I love that country so much.
Okay,
and like, we're going through election right now. They are going through like the runoff stage. This man, his name is KKY, Kande Yumekala. He worked with the UN. Like, he wanted to become a president. This man has the foresight. He saw the foresight of Sierra Leone, how he can make that Sierra Leone great. And because of corruption in that country, during the election, they tried to vote him out. Like, because the diaspora people were rooting for him because he saw the foresight of Sierra Leone. And because the citizen, the people in Sierra Leone didn't see what he was seeing. But us, the diaspora people, saw what he was seeing for the country. And because of corruption.
What
because
position is he in now?
They vote him out, so he can't.
He's not even running.
He's not, well, he was running.
He's
so
not
there
in
were
the
three-
final run.
No,
Yeah.
he's not. So the
What
two
they call it?
corrupt,
Run out, or what they call it? No. What they call it? Run off. Right.
runoff.
He's not
So
in the rundown.
The two corrupt
Guys.
are the one on the runoff. And the guy that really see the foresight for
Didn't make it.
He didn't make it because the people, the Sierra Leonean, they try to get rid of it. Oh, what are you doing? You were in UN. What did you do for the country? And now, what are you bringing? Like, they're not seeing the picture, what he was seeing, but the diaspora people saw the picture that he was seeing for the country. So they got him out. So now, I was like, God, like, what is the feature of Sierra Leone now? Because these two corrupt people, they are only there for their own selfish reason. They're not there
So
to
what did
help
you get from this teaching today?
So,
I'm always going to be returning you to the teaching.
so we need to go and put like the sincerity, like the justice and the righteousness. We need to.
I think you need to begin to talk about it so that people will know that's exactly what is needed.
Yeah. So that's what we need to bring back to Africa. We need to put it into our people, like embedded into them, because in order for Africa to be better or advance, that's what we need to do in our society.
Beautiful. Thank you. Next one. 7 Principles of National Transformation. That's a book. I must write that book too.
Yeah. Thank you, dear.
Did you see? Are you seeing something?
Definitely. Every time I hear you speak, for me, you demystify the Bible. Because we've seen the Bible as a religious book for so long. And we read it with a religious mindset and religious worldview. You know, like the scripture that says that if the foundation be destroyed, what shall the righteous do? We always take it with a religious connotation or concept. But with what you have taught today, the foundation is exactly what you have spoken about. the 7 principles. So even if, like, I can see that our problem in Nigeria is not even the political party. People say, go and get your PVC, go and join a particular party. It's a complete waste.
It's a value system.
It's a complete waste. Because even, okay, like you said when you started that, Buhari, even though he's a Muslim, at least he has some righteous integrity in him. But the Bible says, what will the righteous do? Even if when that foundation has been destroyed. So the problem we have, like going back to the last HMT, you talked about law and order, is still part of the whole thing. This 7 principle is completely non-existent in Nigeria. So it doesn't matter who you vote in, whether you bring in from PDP, you bring in for APC, you bring in for DDS or whatever. There is no hope until these values are in place. Because even if you put a man who is not, in quote, very righteous, but if these principles are in place, right, where we have in a society that nobody is above the law, nobody is above this principle, even the president himself will be subject to these principles. Will force himself to come under these principles. So these are, I'm beginning to see, like
at least you see now that it is not a mystery to change a nation.
It's not a mystery.
When you know the keys and when you understand these things, you begin to say, so what? Because like right now, it looks as if Nigeria is like, there is no key, it's hopeless, as if nothing can be done. It's just because people don't know. When you know the keys, I'm sure you are beginning. Even you yourself, you can handle the country. Everybody can handle the country.
I was sitting down there and I was asking myself, I said, this thing is too simple now.
It's too simple.
It's simple. Yeah. Why is it that our leaders are not seeing these simple things? Yeah. But like you said, I think their eyes have been blinded because of their greed for wealth.
But if they have not been taught, it's also lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge is also the issue. So, yes, I think that's just it. I think we should begin to focus. And the only way that we can come in and play our part, even though we are not in politics, is we need to begin to, as in, talk to our closest neighbors. Start to instill the values. Propagate the values. If you have the gift of public speaking, begin to go to schools, begin to go to local government, even in churches, in your little group, just start something. As DSA said, it will begin to propagate. Once the truth gets into the heart of every person, then it gets to a stage where by the time you start bringing this value, say, okay, you know what, let's begin to stand for righteousness. Let's begin to stand for honesty. Because the truth is there, it's easy for them to receive. But right now, everybody is dog eat dog. Nobody cares for you. I want to make my money. I want to buy Jeep. That is the wrong value system. Yeah. So the value system is actually the bone and the problem that we have in the country.
Now I have seen the foundation through these 7 principles. Seeing about the love.
Can you move that forward? Because she's moving forward, so we need the light in her face. Yeah. Okay.
The foundation for we're using these 7 principles for the nation transformation. This will be successful if the basis on this be followed through. Because it have not been existing. It is so, but it have not been existing. And carrying it across, for we who are getting empowered, we can do great things by changing the nation. The truth, the love that we're able to share, and not only some people getting it, but everyone. When all the citizens have accomplished this knowledge, there can be a balance. That's some of my...
Beautiful. Any other person wants to say something? Now, the thing is that in this HMT, you all must speak. If you don't speak, you'll be punished. If you don't speak, you have to stand up and be punished. Because you've got to tell us, that's why you came. You've got to learn.
I was just thinking, even if it's just one of the principles, everything will be covered.
Right.
If it's only love, if you love somebody, you won't do evil. Just everything will be interwoven. Next.
Finally, the truth. Now we know what is the principle, what is the truth, what is the love, so we can go ahead. And we must know the principle of God, and we can conquer the world.
Yes.
And we can return in the origin.
Yep.
God, he sent his son to conquer the kingdom. So as a origin, we must we must conquer all of the world with the truth, with the 7 principles.
Yes.
So we are ready and we go ahead.
Amen. Amen.
I just while DSA was talking, I just listed out all the principles, and the last one is the God factor. And I realized that the one that takes away responsibility from us is the one we carry on our head in Africa. The one that will make us not move an inch. That's the one that we have exalted so high, the God factor. Righteousness, justice, foresight, research. We have abandoned and thrown everything away. It's just, it's an eye opener to me, and I'm really amazed. Leave the God factor aside. Do your own first. Do the number 1 to 6. Do the number 1 to 6. When you do the number 1 to 6, God will show up. Because anywhere there is righteousness and justice, God will show up. You don't have to call him. You don't have to shout. You don't have to cry for him. Just put the right things in place. Number 1 to 6, and number 7 will show up. He will always come anytime he sees people that are diligent, anytime he sees people that are in unity, anytime he sees people that have foresight. See Iran the other day, I saw in news, Iran stole about 20 terabytes of data from American universities. They stole lots of data. Why? Because they need to advance. They need to catch up.
That is the spy thing now.
That's the spy. And when DSA said spy, I said spy. And I remembered that Moses sent spy to go and spy the land. So what are we doing? We have people in diaspora everywhere. There's knowledge. God have mercy.
The Bible says it in Amos chapter 3 verse 3. Can two agree together except they both agree? I want to believe here that we are men in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole. And when we look at each country, we have different kinds of ethnic groups, languages. If we are to impose some certain things, it won't go well. I think the teachings tonight is helpful to those countries. I mean, to each country in Africa, in that these are the only thing that can make us agree. Now, when we take it one by one, when we take the truth, I don't see any Muslim or Hindu
who will be against
it. When we take sincerity, it has got no religion. It has got no religion in it. So when we take honesty, when we take justice, look at it. All these things that cause
no religion.
There is no religion in it. So let me just stop there for now.
Yes, well, what I want to say of today is that now we have like a wide gospel. I really appreciate the fact that the gospel is not about only soul, but it's about people, it's about nation.
Amen.
So I love it, because sometimes we feel very restricted in our churches, in the teaching, and
yes,
we begin to suffocate. So I like to be...
It's true. Religion will suffocate you.
Yeah. So tonight we have a good wide air to breathe. And the point I'd love tonight in the teaching, in the point that you have to search the real roots of the problem of the nation. And it's not just in Africa. Today in France there is a lot of pressure in the media, and most of the people are begin to think that Muslim people are the problem in France, that immigration is the problem in France. So it's the same propaganda we had years ago in Germany. Jews were the problem. So it's really easy to manipulate the people. And what blows my mind is that the good principles are there in the Bible. It's the value system. So we as a nation, we have to stay focused on justice, righteousness, love, and work. Yes, on this end, it's very, very huge. Thank you.
Beautiful.
What I want just to say is just that this night I have just realized like the responsibility of the church also, because let's say the world is waiting for sons, and without sons there's no resurrection or redemption of a society.
Yep.
So I saw also the principles, but I realized that my responsibility is to become a son, to bring these principles.
Beautiful.
To fix it in my society.
Beautiful.
Hello, everyone. So what I've understood, just as many of you guys, actually, is the fact of being a son. But when Pastor Adelaja was speaking, sorry, DSA was speaking.
Yes, it's true. Sunday Adelaja. Yes.
The topic that mostly spoke to me was the fact that the earth was groaning, actually. And lately I've been feeling like all the groaning of the earth, if I could say it like that, people that are weeping, people that are crying, etc., all the how do you say, the burdens of everyone. And I'm here and I'm saying, well, I'm just a young person, I'm just a young girl. But at the same time, I'm saying that I'm responsible for this earth.
Amen.
I can't just sit and through the same principles, actually, with my pastor, we're working. It's a church where we have cell groups. Actually, it's a group where there is youth, etc. And I'm kind of a leader in one cell group. And what I'm living with tonight is mostly implementing these principles in my cell group, because I think that if I start with them, well, they as well will, as we use propaganda, will propaganda to everyone, because that's really mostly what spoke to me is the word propaganda, is the fact of giving the information, but not only giving it away, but it's like an excess, giving it with like an overflow of information. So that's all.
Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. You people are so smart. Not yet, she's not ready. Okay. Anyway, most people have spoken. All right. That's all for today. Huh? You want to add? Questions? Oh, yes. Let's hear questions. Yes, sir.
Maybe I should stand up.
Anyhow, yeah.
Okay. Whenever we talk about things like this, I mean, whenever we throw it to them there,
yes,
especially in Nigeria that I know,
yes,
what we always hear is that all what is happening has been prophesied, and that they are the sign of the end of the time. Now, how do we relate such a response? Because they are watching us. And I'm very, very sure many of them will also like to conclude using these Bible passages. I mean, the end of the time, there will be this, there will be poverty in the land, there is no need of a DSA, bringing on all these titles, what is happening in Africa, diseases everywhere, earthquake, famine, etc., are as a result of what the Bible said that at the end time. So how do we relate it to the solutions that you have been given? How can we really, because I've been saying it that you are not only talking to us per se, you are talking, I see you ministering to the House of Assembly in Nigeria, and that this same message is to everybody. So if that is the case, this old-time excuse, and I will say questions that they always use, and that it has more or less become a brainwashing of a thing. How will you address it if such a question also come up? Just the way I'm asking you, sir.
Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay, the way to address it is this. First of all, the poverty, the corruption, the hunger, the child mortality, the all kind of devastation, the lack of infrastructure, and the irresponsibility of the government. All these things that are happening in Africa, they are just too much. Anything you touch, anywhere you go, they're just destruction. And so you want to say that is end time? So end time in the Bible that Jesus spoke about only refers to Africa, eh? Okay. So end time shouldn't affect Europe. End time shouldn't affect America. End time shouldn't affect Japan. End time shouldn't affect China. End time should only affect Nigeria. Okay. End time doesn't affect them. Okay. Yeah, only we are, because we need excuse for our failure. Because we are not performing. It's an indolent excuse and the excuse for laziness and justification of your lack of clue, of your mediocrity. You wanted to say something there? Yes, please. Beautiful queen.
Hello, everybody. When Pastor was ministering, what came to my mind was this. While we were busy doing religion, Bill Gates was acting out what sonship is all about.
Yeah.
He established an industry. After establishing the industry, when they were in full profit, he took part of that profit and almost eradicated polio.
Yeah.
Now he's working on turning sewage system into drinkable water. He's working on eradicating mosquitoes. He's working on just like eradicating sewage smell and all.
He's showing us what is sonship.
That's sonship. While we're there doing praise and worship, midnight
religion
prayers and all that, Elon Musk is not only, he has conquered $3 billion industry on planet Earth. He's preparing the space in case the Earth catastrophe happens. Somebody is using their okpolo. They are gray. They are gray and white. Look, my own is that for me personally, I feel weak because it dawned on me how backward we are. How backward that you can be a Nigerian, but you will not even know if you don't come across people like DSA. Because when you see white people doing it, something in your head tells you, maybe now because now you go. The amount of laziness, the amount of
mental laziness.
You know, I don't know how to explain.
Irresponsibility.
We have a long way to go. And the good thing about the spying thing is that most of us are already positioned. We're already positioned. There are a lot of Nigerians. Some have changed their name to Harry Pear. You know, instead of answering Harry Chinedu.
Or Chris Al.
You know? You know, well, and it's a good thing. And it's a good thing because, as like you said, we never even, the car thing is not working. We've not finished manufacturing car. The submarine, we have to find a way. We have to. But please, my encouragement is for those of you that are still arguing about DSA or no DSA. Are you against honesty?
Yes.
Are you against sincerity?
Truth.
Let us do those ones first. You know, boil the hot water before you put Gary.
Yes.
Let us do the first thing first. No Muslim, if we're talking about national transformation and you're talking about honesty, no Muslim will stand up and say anything against you.
Yes.
If you're talking about national transformation and you're, okay, and one key thing that DSA said that really went down with me, sometimes we want to bash people, sin. I'll just call it value. What are your values?
Yes.
Now you're talking intelligently.
Yes.
What are your value system?
Yes.
Because when you say sin, people will tell you, I'm Orthodox, I'm Pentecostal. No, I don't care where you belong. Even if you're Buddha, you believe in anything, what are your value system? Because that is something we can agree on. And if we come to an area where we agree on, we can make progress. Every other thing will sort itself out. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, before we go, or maybe some people will still want to say, but before then, let me just recommend for people who want to study the topic further. They will say I'm selling my books, but it's not about selling. If you want, go and read them for free on Kindle Unlimited. But even for that one, you have to register. It's not me who is taking the money, it's Amazon. But so the books that I will recommend for you that will really help you to grow in this, if you wish to, is number one, A Visionless Life is a Meaningless Life. The same, A Visionless nation is a meaningless nation. So we need to learn to live by vision. Vision is important for everything in life. Kingdom-driven life. We need to learn to bring the kingdom of God to the earth. And this book will help as well. How to become a developed nation through the dignity of labor. There is something they call dignity of labor. This book will also help bring it to pass. Now, for us to know that Africans have built something great before, every African must read this book, How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. And this will help you, give you faith that if our forefathers did it before, you can still do it again. Then, if you are a Nigerian, even if you are not, this book will help you. Nigeria and the leadership question. This is, how to resolve that leadership question anywhere, in Nigeria or anywhere. And this is another book on Nigeria, the Nigerian economy, the way forward. How we could build Nigerian economy to one of the top economies in the world. Other books that will be able to help you from any country is this. How to transform and build a civilized nation. A civilized nation. Then the principles, how to live by principle. Life is predictable. And this is a new book, How to Transform a Nation Through the Power of Faith. This is the one where I say I wrote about St. Patrick and Ireland. Then another one is there. Could you be the Abraham of your nation? Abraham of your nation is another book that will help you. You are born to make your nation great. You are born to make your nation great. This is the role of personal responsibility in building a nation. And then purpose and the purpose and calling of nations. How to discover the purpose and calling, or discovering the purpose and calling of nations. Discovering the purpose and calling of nations. And the role of the elite in national transformation. So these are the books that will help you to be able to study this topic further that we have spoken about today, and be able to help you to get equipped, properly equipped. Because you'll be saying, how does DSA know all these things? But I've written books explicitly about all these things. But you'll be able to follow them and be able to, make yourself also invincible and versatile. Like, you'll be able to know what you are talking about, how to. I have a feeling that for most people who are here today, both for the earlier teaching and this one, I'm sure you should begin to have a good grasp of, what, it's easy. I can handle a nation now. I know what to do with a nation. I know what to do with a country. Because you are getting closer. And that's the place I want to get as many people as possible. So we know it's not a rocket science to build a nation and to fix a nation. So that's where we are. Anybody want to say anything? Yep, please. These books are available. I think they will give you, they will tell you. They will tell you. I don't know, but they will tell you. Yeah.
Just short question about foresight principle.
Yes.
How to...
hey, don't talk when somebody else is talking. You don't talk when someone else is talking.
How to make the conciliation, or I don't know,
yes,
to...
the conciliation.
Reconcile.
How
yes,
do you reconcile?
Foresight and basic needs. In country, when you want to make, a foresight project for, as you said, century.
Yes.
And right now, people are needs, basic needs. They want to eat, they want to have house, and the PGD of the country, maybe it cannot be enough to face the basic need right now, and also to start the foresight project. How could imagine the...
That is the reason, that is exactly the explanation why, that is exactly the explanation why most countries in Africa, that is the justification they think they have, why they don't have time for foresight. We need to survive. But anybody that lives by survival is already dead. You lose your life when you just live for survival. You know, that's why Jesus said, life is more than what to eat, what to drink, or where to wear. Life is more than the present need. Once you begin to live for the present need, that's living for survival. It means you are going to be running after illusion, after shadow. You are going to be too busy to even live life. Because you are trying to make survival. You are too busy surviving, you cannot live the life. So, the real secret to life is he that is ready to lose his life will keep it. So, and that is the same principle for building wealth. Anybody that wants to enjoy life today, I want to drink, I want to do, you will never be rich tomorrow. So, but you will be rich tomorrow if you will constrain your needs and appetite today. That is the principle of life. You must save today, invest today, so that tomorrow you get more. But if you just want to eat today, then you don't have what to live for tomorrow. So what I would think for the countries that are poor and that are saying we don't have even what we need for today, okay, do economic policies, financial policies. Live and do your budgeting to address the need for today for a percentage. Let's say 40% of your capital expenditure addresses the need of today. But don't let 100% address it. Let 40% address it, then put another 40% for future. So balance it. Maybe you will have less now, but you will have more tomorrow. Yes, sir. Another question?
Sorry. If we will apply many of these principles, especially, I believe Nigeria will be my own example.
Yes.
I believe heads will roll. Why am I saying heads will roll? Whenever you want to, principles like this, it's just as if you are telling the whole nation to go back to zero.
Yes.
Meaning that some people just have to, pay a lot. I mean, leave a lot of things. That has been the fear.
Yes.
So what we have in the system now is a system that, just as you have said it, is aristocratic system. Now, if they will buy these principles, it will really, really. What do you have to? What do you have to say? Because it's an ABC, so simple.
Yes.
But as simple as it is, and that one who has not eaten from their system or have not really rubbed his hand with their sins, will find it easy to implement.
Yeah.
But they themselves, that has already their powers, they are into the system, they are all corrupt, and they oftentimes agree. Now, despite their differences, ethnic group, whenever it comes to the national cake, they always agree. Now, if they would like to, there is unity. If they would like to apply, they know that it will cost them a lot. It will cost them almost everything, maybe land them in the jail. Because there is no way you will talk about the true sincerity that it will not bring about amending many of the laws. And who will talk about amending laws? They have to bring in laws that will
persecute them.
That will persecute them. So what do we have? Because I had it's not the solution, but I would like you to help us on that. I heard a man of God saying some times ago that it would not be right if one who would be leading such a nation like Nigeria be throwing people into the prison, no matter what they might have done. That the era of change should start from when it comes in. So how will you address when you come in with your sincerity, truth? How will we go about the past? Over to you, sir.
Those are the reality, practical, on-ground questions the man is raising. Okay. I agree absolutely with that question, because right now, there's even no big change, or just little. There is, in Nigeria, was a man that decided to just introduce a little bill, not even a law yet, just a bill, that all the churches and mosques should be, not even pay tax yet, just be open, just be transparent, and give report about how much money they have, and then, report how they spend it. And then they should also be ready when they have lived up to 70 years, at least to retire. Our people fought against it. We will have to do it till we die now. And then the reporting, why should you know? Were you there when God called us? But is it not the public who God gave the money? They have the right to know how you are spending it. They fought it, that the government had to fire the man and, withdraw the. So I know what you are talking about. It's going to be tug of war. But until we have in fact, the reason why I voted in, I didn't vote, but I campaigned for Buhari to come in, is because I was expecting him to be brutal and to be, non-tolerant of any kind of evil. I was expecting the Buhari that I knew in the 80s. Yeah, that is what I expected. That's why I voted for him. But because of democracy or all that, everybody was criticizing him, that he was. So he's trying to prove to everybody that he's now a democratic leader. So he rejected all that firmness and things that he had before. Because I was in Nigeria when he was the president, and I knew what he did. But now he wants to be a Democrat, so he's not taking any decision. Only his team are taking decisions. I know, because he wants to be democratic. But that kind of leadership will never change Nigeria. I'm not interested in politics, and I think it's going to be a disservice and a demotion for me to do anything political or go political. But if I were to have any right to go political, everything would be by enforcement. Only enforcement. If you don't do that, nothing will work. I would rather be like the Lee Kuan Yew in South Korea, in Singapore, or yeah, someone like that. That's the only way you could bring about change. But you stand a chance of being killed as well. So it's going to be in Nigeria. For example, I wrote in my book Nigeria and the Leadership Question that, for example, in Singapore, if you cannot even chewing gum. If you are doing chewing gum, you have to pay $3,000 if you are chewing gum. Or you throw a paper in the street, $1,000. So you are saying there is no money. You have the money very fast in the budget. If you cross the red light, $500. If you speed, $200. If you lie and you are caught, 2 years in jail. So if money is coming from everywhere, or else the whole country will be in jail. You don't want to. If you are a government minister and you cheated on your wife or your husband, you go and have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or boyfriend. They chase you from the ministry because they say if you can cheat on your wife, then you cheat on the government. So tough, because you've got to legislate righteousness. Yeah, if you don't legislate righteousness or use propagation, like, massive propagation, and that means media, that means Hollywood, films, schools, education, massive enlightenment program, massive. That is the only way to bring about change. Or penalties, punishment. Otherwise, nothing will change. But with Nigeria, everybody wants change, but nobody wants to pay the price. And people will be going to jail. Not just people. Everybody will be going to jail if you want to. That's why in America, I say 75% of all lawyers in the world are in America. But 82% or 81% of all lawsuits in the world are happening in America. Everything is a lawsuit. The whole world, 80% of all lawsuits that happen, they are in America. Why? Because law. That's the only way. Otherwise, we will not change anything. We will only be wishing. We're in a society where everything goes, nothing changes. So it's going to be a tough decision. So all those people who are saying, okay, this one wants to run for president, that one, they are not tough enough. Not Nigeria. Nobody is ready yet. And they don't even know the principles. But if knowing the principles is just half, the toughness is the second half. The toughness to be able to implement. We need an Idiagbo. That's the only kind of thing that can do it. Or a Muritala Muhammad. To lose his life. Like, for example, when I first came to Europe, I thought Europeans were wicked. Because everything, any little thing, they stop you. It's impossible. You can't. These people. Everything is law. As if they caught my hand and my feet and put everything as you just be. Because I was used to a country where nothing. Just do anything you want. We used to think that law and order is wickedness. That's in a foreign land, though. What about in our place where everybody, not one, like me here, but there everyone is lawless like that? How will you enforce it? You have to really be tough. It has to be done. If there is any motivation that for me to want to be in government, it's only because of this. Because to be able to establish, let me establish, and then you take your country, but let it work first. And number two thing that will not make this thing to work in Nigeria, that make me to know that Nigerians are not ready for change, is that there is no way Africa will change or Nigeria will change without dictatorship.
Yeah.
And Nigerians are not ready for dictatorship. For example, right now, the most rapid growing nation in Africa and the best, the most beautiful country in Africa is Rwanda. If that man had just been voted out after the second something, they would have rubbish everything. Yeah. The same thing in South Africa is being destroyed now. If one leader has been there constantly, it would have helped this. But for example, that man is able to bring the country to, and the mistake Nigeria has made. If I will say something now, everybody that is watching me on television and something, they themselves will be ready to stone me right now, as what I'm going to say. But the biggest mistake Nigerians have made, and is the one they are more proud of. If you see Nigerians, they will be proud about this thing I want to say. But it's the biggest foolishness. And especially the Southerners and the Westerners, the so-called elites. That's why I wrote the book about the elites. We don't understand the elitism. We brag ourselves to say that we didn't allow Obasanjo to stay there for 4 times. We didn't allow him. We are the ones who exposed. We are the ones who removed him. Okay. You remove him, so where did you put? What did you get? Why are you, for example, I don't understand Nigerians who are complaining. Yes, I don't understand Nigerians who are complaining that the country is bad today. You don't have conscience. You don't even have logic. Why should you remove somebody who was bringing the country out? Just at the time he was about to bring the something, you said you don't want total. Because, it's not done. It is democracy. It is this, it is that. And you got democracy now. So what are you complaining? Why are you now going to complain after you removed the one that was supposed to take you up to your promised land? And you say, oh no, it's because he is the one to blame, not us. But you are the one who don't want him to remain, and you say he's to blame again. Yes, because he put the bad one. So you don't want to take responsibility. He should do everything for you and put the next one, and put the next one, and put the next one. Because sustainability is necessary for development. I don't know if you people were in Nigeria when Obasanjo was there. The country was horrible during Abacha. Dead bodies were in the street. Things were, but that man, he took the country slowly. People were criticizing, but he knew what he wanted. The country was gradually coming. And by the time he was about to go, Nigeria had become basically the largest economy in Africa. It has become, we paid all that. I mean, Nigeria was becoming, just, things were going on incredibly well. But everybody started saying, if I had been in Nigeria, I would have campaigned for that total. I would have stood on my knees before the whole country. Please, I knew it. And I was talking about it when I was here, that please let him stay. Not just for 3rd time. Let him stay for 4th time. Let him stay for 5th time. Let him stay for 10th time. Anything necessary. There is no way, there is no country in the world that has been able to sustain democracy, growth, economic growth and civilization without sustainability. If you are lucky enough, for 50 years we are looking for somebody to be able to be a good leader to lead us on the path of the, and you got one, you said you want democracy, you want to remove it. And you removed it, and then you are complaining. So there is no way any government can do that in 8 years. There is no government that been able can just do in 8 years. You need at least 15 years. Can you imagine, we that are saying we want democracy, do you know that in France, a leader can be there, prime minister, president or prime minister? President, right? President can be there for 10 years, can be there for 15 years, for as long as they keep on electing him, right? In France. It's 2 times. Oh, but it's not 8 years. It's more than 8 years. Mitterrand was there for how many years? For 10 years?
He can do it like 15. He can do it like 15.
Yeah. And come back. That's what I mean. Because Mitterrand was there for 14 years or 12 years? 14. You see? 14. That's what I mean. And these are the people we are calling democratic country. If Mitterrand was there for 14 years, De Gaulle was there for how many years? Yeah, he was there like 20, 25 years or something. Yes. He was there like for 20, 24 years. So I'm talking about these countries we are saying they are democratic. If this one was there for 8 years and you want to kill him. And what about, we don't remember that same France, they had country leaders who are there for 14, 20, 25 years. Germany, Kohl was there for how many years? 14 years? The woman is still there now. What's her name? Angela Merkel. She's already there for 12 years. Going another one. And we are saying we want democracy. What kind of democracy? Now, in America itself, America that we want to copy, they will not tell you that when America was always at a turning point. What is the name of the president that was there during the repression and the war? He was elected 3 times. Roosevelt. 3 times. Even though his constitution is 2 times. Because it's a time of transition. But we, democracy, and the people who fought it are the people who called elite. We want democracy. And he's too sure. And when now in England even, that was our colonial master, how long, you could be there for as long as you have been elected. Margaret Thatcher was there for 11 years or 12 years or 13 years. You can be there for as long as they are still elected. You can be there. We had to say you want to be only 2 terms. And then we're ruining the chance. And then this one came and destroyed the whole thing. That one came and destroyed. Lee Kuan Yew. Why was he able to make from third world country to first world country? Because he was there for as long as necessary. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. Without sustainability, there is just no development. So, continuity of policy must be there, at least for the next 30 years. Then you could say, that is how Germany, after the Second World War, France, after all these European countries, they were there for so many years. They brought stability, then democracy became it. But Africa, we don't want to be criticized. You will not be criticized now. But you will be going worse and worse and worse. So that is another area where Nigerians are not ready. Because everybody wants to go and take the national cake. It is the national cake that is bothering them. That's why they are saying no third term, nothing, not this one and that. Yes. Everybody, they will say the rotation. It has been you, has been there. Another tribe must come. All those things are things that are, that are making them to think no third term. They will say it's Yoruba or Hausa who wants to take something. They are not thinking about sustainability. But they are not ready for that. Even as I'm saying it now, people will say, I've lost, but I'm a dictator. Because they are only seeing the negative. Because there is a need. It's a different time. It's a different season. You must see the context. The context is different. Yeah. Like in Russia. If not for Putin, if he has not been there, Russia was like this, down. But because the Putin is there for long, look Russia now. By the time Putin came, Russia was number 15. They were from number 2. They were number 2, but when communism came down, destroyed, they went to number 15 country in the world. Now, they are number 5. The band was staying there. He had purpose. He's purposeful. China too is changing because he wants to sustain the growth. Yeah. Because those are the things that why is America not talking about China? Why are they not saying they are dictators? Yeah, why the Saudi Arabia, why are they not saying they are dictators? Why is it that only they are accusing of dictatorship? Please, I'm through today. Come. See you people tomorrow. All right, see you. Do I need to give you this? Okay. All right.
Okay. So see you. Our friends on Facebook. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Ukraine time. Thank you and good night.
Yeah.